Faculty of Food and Agriculture, as the Department of Food Production, have thought about this webinar. And in this introduction part, I would like to address two important questions. One is, why study agricultural science? Most of the people think that agriculture is just about farming, but it is not so. Agriculture, it has a lot of science in it, and it has technology in it. And here we study agriculture as a science to develop technologies and to assist the farmers and to guide the farmers to better grow crops and rear livestock, as well as to increase the poultry production. And also, if you look at agriculture, it is not just about farming, as I said. It is about researching and innovative solutions for agricultural problems. We have so many challenges with respect to agriculture, and the farmers are facing so many problems in the field. So as an agricultural graduate and agricultural researchers and agricultural scientists, we can provide solutions to the farmers. Any discipline, any subject if you take in the life science, be it a biotechnology, that is agricultural biotechnology, which has wide applications and as well as impact in promoting crop yield as well as livestock production. Also, you take food technology, you take post-harvest technology, you take plant pathology and agricultural entomology, wherein you will study about the pests and diseases, and you will study about the pesticide technology and what pesticide has to be applied to control which pest or which disease. So you will know about the science of developing a pesticide and soil science. And soil has so many properties. Without soil, we cannot grow crops. Without a medium, it would be hard to grow crops. And even there is a technology emerging, how to grow some of the crops without soil. That is the hydroponics and aquaculture. So with agriculture, there are so many subjects, so many hidden in it. And the students, you will have so many opportunities as well. And it is a multidisciplinary subject. As I said, precision agriculture, and there is a large scope for development mechanics like the drone technology as well as the agricultural engineering and the value addition. But most of the time we don't see agriculture as a science. So that is the challenge, not only within the region, but in all countries. But at the same time, the people, those who realized agriculture as the science, agriculture as the multidisciplinary subject, they have shined and they have become leaders, and they rule the region as well as they rule the world. COVID has occurred, and everyone would have realized we can live our life without car, we can live our life without air conditioner, we can live our life without these amenities, but at the same time we cannot live without food. Then again, I'm saying the graduates, those who complete agriculture, they need not think agriculture is just about farming. It is about developing technologies, and it is helping the farmers, and it is helping the agriculture how to grow better crops and how to rear the animals to ensure food security and food safety. Therefore, agriculture is a science, and it has a lot of science in it. Even if you take the advanced technologies like detection, diagnosis of viruses, to give you an example, The person, those who have completed agriculture, they were actually in need of medical science to do the detection of COVID or coronaviruses. So that much capability and capacity, the graduates, those who completed agriculture, has got it. And that skill set, they can work in any field. That is the beauty of agricultural science. And also, the demand for food is never going to reside. It is always on increasing trend. So the agriculture is a hidden science. That's what we thought. It is better to name this webinar as the agriculture, the hidden science, and we can make you understand agriculture. It is a multidisciplinary science, and it has a lot of science hidden in it. So that's why we want students to study agriculture. Then the second question that I wanted to address here. I'm saying you have to study agriculture and you have to understand agriculture as a science. But at the same time, you may ask, why study in Department of Food Production at the University of the West Indies, St. Augustine campus? I will quote 3 reasons. One is multi-specialty staff. We have staff in all disciplines, as I mentioned: agriculture, biotechnology, soil science, livestock science, post-harvest technology, food technology. You just ask me, we have all experts with international quality and that specialty. That is supported by well-abled administrative and the technical staff. That is the first thing that I will cite here, why you have to choose the Department of Food Production. The second thing, if you ask me, the lab and field facilities that we have in the Augustine campus, that is at international quality. Multidisciplinary, and not only that, you have that layering. Once you enter at the undergraduate level and you have multiple options to do your research at MSc, MPhil, and PhD level, we have the staff to guide you through your process to your academic career. Progressing can be facilitated by our staff as well as the facilities that you have at the Department of Food Production, Faculty of Food and Agriculture. Then you may ask, where is the proof? Where's the testimony you have? And if you look at, that is the third point I'm going to cite here. That is about our 100 years of existence at the St. Augustine campus. 100 years before, that is in 1921, the University of the West Indies was started as the Imperial College of Tropical Agriculture. And from that only, the University of the West Indies has evolved. So there, we have produced the leaders at regional and international level. So that is our testimony. And that is the proof where we can say we have that experience and we have that qualification to provide a better career and better opportunity to all of you. So that is why I wanted you, and that is why I'm saying that you have to select, or you can select the UWI St. Augustine campus to do your agricultural degree. Then of course we have all laboratory facilities, as I have mentioned, in all disciplines. Based on your interest, you could choose either soils or crops or livestock. And even beyond that, we can have collaboration with other faculties and other departments, and we will enable your ability as well as your interest to collaborate with the other science disciplines as well. So with that introduction remark, if you ask me what we have to offer you, and we have BSc Agriculture program and BSc major in Agricultural Technology, BSc major in Disaster Risk Resilience for Agriculture and the Environment. And also we have undergraduate diploma in agriculture and undergraduate certificate in agriculture. I have my colleagues who will give more information and details about all of these individual programs. So this is our beautiful campus, and of course you could see the Tech Agri Expo, which we had it for 2 years before COVID, and that is our Frank Stockdale building. And I look forward to receiving you all in September 2022 in our programs. And I wish you all be the part of our legacy. So with that brief introduction remark, I wish you all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. I think now you all have been, greeted with the diversity and the expertise that resides within the Department of Food Production. Prof did a wonderful job in explaining, the process as well as the evolution of the St. Augustine campus of the University of the West Indies, which did start from the Imperial College of Tropical Agriculture. And essentially, many will tell you that that Imperial College was the foundation upon which the entire St. Augustine campus was built. And perhaps others will carry it as far as to say that it led to the development of the university across the region as well. So thank you very much for that, Prof. And now we want to move on to Mrs. Bannister, who will provide some information on administrative requirements and admission requirements, as well as the application process, which you will focus mostly on, as you will get some additional details from the individual programs. In addition to that, I forgot to mention at the start, we are trying to keep our presentations as precise and condensed as possible so that we will afford you all the opportunity to ask questions at the end. So feel free to type your questions in the chat, and even those who would like to express those questions and comments verbally after we have finished all the presentations, that would be most welcome. So without any further delay, Mrs. Bannister, over to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rupnarai, and I will be brief. Thank you, Professor Sarah, for that very detailed and exciting introduction. It's a pleasure to have all of you here this afternoon, all our attendees, and also my colleagues. Good afternoon. So Professor Sarah shared on the opportunities that you have in studying agriculture. So in order for you to begin this process, or to get a chance to come into our department and begin your exciting journey, you have to apply. There's a process that I just will give you a brief overview of, the application process, some information on that process, as well as the fees, your fees requirement, the tuition for the programs that we have here available in the Department of Food Production, and also just some additional information to leave you with so that you can begin your journey. Okay, so I will just share my screen at this time. And Professor Sarah, let me just add that in addition to why persons should study agriculture, I just want to say, simply because we are the best faculty. We are the best faculty in the university, and I make that boast, and we have the best students. So that should be the only reason. But let me just give you a brief overview of the process. And I want to stress here, this is the start of you applying to the university or applying to a program, one of our programs. So I just want to stress that it's an application process. It's a lot of information. It involves processing the information, reading, understanding, but don't be deterred by it, okay? It's a simple process. It could be long, but once you read, once you understand, and we are here, the Department of Food Production, I will provide you with our contact information. So if you need any assistance when you begin this process, we are available to assist you, right? So let me, is everybody seeing my screen?
Yes, Ms. Bannister.
Okay, so let me proceed. So the first step First of all, Professor Shara gave an overview of our programs. We have degree programs in BSc Agriculture. We have majors in Agricultural Technology, and we have offering for the first time in September, a BSc major in Disaster Risk and Resilience for Agriculture and the Environment. We also offer an undergraduate diploma in agriculture, as well as an undergraduate certificate, right? So the process to apply to the degree programs in university is, first of all, you have to log in. You have to go to the admissions portal. This is available on the UWI St. Augustine homepage. This is the link that you see here on my screen, sta.uwi.edu/admissions. Now, this information, we will share it, all these links that you require, the quick links, I will be sharing that in the chat. But please note, you simply go to the University of the West Indies homepage via this address, and you go to admissions. So the application process, I will just summarize it in 7 simple steps for you. The first thing, of course, you go to the admissions portal. The second thing is you read the instructions. Let me just stop there. You read the instructions because you have to sit down and you have to understand what is required when you begin your process of your application process, right? You require some important information. You require some important documents as well. So it would be good to read the entire thing, go to the website, get the instructional video, how to apply, gather all your information before you proceed, because you need to process all of this. So you read the instructions, right? Now, when you go online and you go onto the applications portal, of course, you choose your program, right? You are applying to undergraduate degree. There will be options available for you. You create your login ID, you create a login PIN, and you verify your PIN, just like when you are making an application, an online application, right? You enter all your information as required, make sure that it's accurate information. Then, of course, you choose your programs. And, in this case, it's agriculture. As I said, this is a no-brainer. You have 4 options. The university requires that you enter 4 program choices. Okay, so if you put a first choice and you don't get through, you may get through to your second choice or your third or your fourth. So you put 4 choices, okay? Step 5, of course, after that, you print something called a confirmation receipt. Now, all these words you're hearing here, it's part of the process. So once you read, once you begin the process, you will understand. So you print something called a confirmation receipt. And then, of course, after that, you have to complete your online application. Now you put in all the relevant information that is required, and then you pay your processing fee, your application processing fee. That fee is $90 TT or $30 US for our international students. Then after that, once you complete your application, you track the online application. You must track your application. There are various notifications that will be sent that will give you an indication of where the application is, what's the status of your application. So I would say you track it, say every couple of days, every 4 days, you go in. Once you complete the process and you pay the fee, you continue to track the application. Because sometimes there may be things that there's information that may be incomplete, and you will be notified accordingly. For instance, something might be, you might have outstanding documents, decision may be pending for your notification of offer. There may be something that needs to be reviewed. You may need to submit some relevant documentation, because when you're applying, there are certain relevant documents that you need to submit, your certificates, your transcripts, that kind of thing. All personal information documents need to be verified and uploaded to the applications portal. So bear that in mind, right? You won't just get notification telling you, check this, check that. You are the one who's responsible to track the application. So bear in mind that when you are applying to the university, you're applying to any program, there's a period for application. And we don't want you to miss this period. As Professor Sarah said, we want to welcome all of you in September of this year. And the deadline to apply to the university, to our undergraduate programs, I have it here on the screen. It opened in February and it ends on July the 31st, 2022. We are now in May, right? So you have some time still to apply to our undergraduate degree programs. So once you complete your application, you're tracking, right? And you're waiting until you get your notification. Should you have all the qualification and what is required, you will get a notification of the offer for your program. So you may want to know, to get an idea, of course, when you are applying to anything, you're coming to do a degree, and a degree, there is a fee attached. There's a tuition fee for each of our programs. Now, I won't go in depth into all the details concerning the fees, but I will tell you this. There are tuition fees and there are compulsory university fees. So for our BSc programs, the tuition across the board, it's $12,600. This is the annual fee as a full-time student. This is for the BSc Agriculture. This is for the BSc majors as well. Now, when you're doing a major, you can do a double major. You can apply to do a single major, or you can apply to do a double major, or a major and a minor. All right? Or you can do the BSc Agriculture, which is a program. It's the same tuition. It's $12,600. This is for your tuition. This is annually, and the $12,600 covers a maximum of 36 credits per year, right? And then, of course, your degree is 3 years, right? So this is for the BSc degrees. Now, students who are coming in from the different territories, in terms of the Caribbean territories, you pay fees accordingly, right? If you go to the online tuition fee booklet, which I will provide a link for you a bit later, you will see information on how much fees you will be required to pay, because your per credit rate may be different to somebody who's a national, all right? So you have your tuition for that. That is for the BSc degree programs. And if you look right below that, you have the undergraduate diploma. It's the 2-year diploma program, and it's roughly, now some of these fees I'm giving you, it's a rough estimation, because the bursary, they will attach the fees, and there may be sometimes subject to adjustments. All right, so there are some university compulsory fees you're required to pay together with your tuition fees. So I'm just giving you here today the tuition, which is just the bare tuition fees for your credits. So the credits that fall under the program. So for the UDA, it's $11,550 TT dollars, and this is annually. And the UDA is a 2-year diploma program, right? Just bear in mind, for persons who are nationals, Trinidad and Tobago nationals, GATE funding continues to be available for some of our undergraduate programs. And if you wish to get more information on the GATE and how you qualify and applying for GATE, of course, there is a GATE website. You go onto that website, you read the information, you apply for your GATE approval, registering for GATE as a UE student. Okay, so in a nutshell, these are the fees for our program. You will be given an opportunity, of course. If you have any questions concerning this, we are going to be addressing it as best as we can, right? I just kind of extracted some additional information concerning the per credit rate for some of the non-nationals. So if you're from a contributing ACS country or non-contributing, you pay a credit rate is applied accordingly based on where you're coming from. All right. So please check the tuition, undergraduate tuition booklet online. If you have any questions concerning the fees, we have our food production website, our email address, which we will provide to you so that you can ask any questions and clear anything up. Because I know when you're applying, you need to know if you can pay, how much it costs. I mean, that is very important information. So feel free to email us concerning anything that is stated here. right? All of this I extracted. If you look at the slide, I extracted this from our booklet as well. So log in and you check out the tuition booklet, you will see all of this information. And I also provided here on my screen the food production email address where you can email us once you begin the application process and you're tracking your application. You have any questions, send us an email at food production, right? food.production@sta.uwi or .edu. And we will be on hand to, we will respond accordingly, right? So that is the end basically of my presentation. And let me tell you, once you successfully complete the application process, you are ready for university. As a matter of fact, there is no UE exam that can trip you up once you get through the application process. So let's get started early. So if you encounter any difficulty, you can sort it out, you can get the help, you can get the assistance, whatever is required before the deadline date, right? So I just want to encourage everybody to get on board, pursue your dreams. As Professor Sarah said, agriculture is a hidden science, and we want to ensure that all of you are given that opportunity to pursue your dreams. So apply now. I'm not sure why my phone is ringing. But that brings me to the end of my presentation. So I will now hand over to Dr. Ruth Narain. And thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Bannister. As you all know now, you know how to apply. The question is now what to apply for. So that is what our second part of this webinar is going to assist you with. So I want to pass over immediately to Dr. Ram Narain, who will give you some insights on the UDA programs that we offer. So Dr. Ram Narain, over to you.
Yes, I'm here. I'm just trying to share my screen. Let me see what's going on.
You should be able to, if you're having difficulty, I have something that I wanted to do here in a few seconds while you sort that out. So if I may ask.
Please go ahead.
Okay, sure, great. So just to keep you guys engaged and to see how, your understanding of agriculture is, there's a link in the chat right now. And I would like if you all could just click on the link and I will share my screen and we will see what people think about it, So please click on that link. And let me share my screen at the same time.
Oh, he shared the screen, okay.
Yes. So when you click on that link, you will see, you'll probably just put in a name. You could put your initials or whatever you like. And you will see a question. What comes to mind when you think of agriculture? So we're seeing, you all should be seeing my screen now. We're seeing people saying vibrant, fresh produce, fertile, technology, soils. Excellent so far. Good. Food, rearing, production, sustainable. Nice keywords there. Economic. Fauna. Okay, great. Crops. You all keep going. We have a few more, right? Excellent. So now that you have shared some of your thoughts with us, let's see after we present our programs, if your perception of agriculture is still very much the same. So I will stop this for now and hand over back to Dr. Ram Narain to take over with his presentation. Dr. to you again. You should be okay to share now. Let me know if there's any difficulties. Right, so great, we're seeing.
You guys seeing my screen?
Yes.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. And thank you for for making the time to attend this important webinar. And my name is Ravindra Ramnarayan. I'm a lecturer in soil science. And I'm also the UDA undergraduate program coordinator. Okay.
Excuse Doc, just make it full screen, please.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay. All right. So the two programs I'm going to talk about is the undergraduate diploma in agriculture, also known as the UDA, and the undergraduate certificate in agriculture, also called the UCA. Okay. So the goal of these programs is to enhance access and to increase the availability of human resources with post-secondary training in agriculture. So right now, most of you are probably in secondary schools. So this gives you post-secondary training or tertiary training in agriculture to support the development of the food and agriculture sector in the Caribbean region. Agriculture, as you know, is multidisciplinary, so it has a number of different areas such as crop science, livestock production, and soil science, to name a few. Okay. And in terms of the entry requirements, what do you need to get into these programs? All you need is 5 CSEC subjects, basically, all right? So that should be your goal if you're writing O-levels this year, 5 CSEC subjects, but it must include English, English language and maths, and at least 1 science subject. And this science subject could be either agri-science, biology, chemistry, geography, integrated science, or physics, any one of these. All right. However, if you don't have a science subject and you have relevant practical experience in agriculture, you will also be considered. And also to let you know, there are even past students here who don't have maths or English. There are some entry-level programs, like, for example, the maths. There is a course called Improve Your Math Skills that you can do to gain entry into the program. Okay. In terms of the duration of these programs, the UDA diploma is 2 years full-time study, and the certificate in agriculture is 1 year of full-time study. All right. In terms of the program, the UCA consists of 12 courses done over 1 year or 3 semesters. So we have semester 1, which is about 13 weeks, and semester 2 about 13 weeks each. And then we have a summer semester, which is about 10 weeks. Okay, and courses in the UCA are mainly foundation and introductory courses, and they also have a strong science component. So if you think that, you didn't do all the science, you only have 1 science, we have courses that integrate agriculture with these pure sciences. So like the first semester, you'll do like agricultural biology, agricultural chemistry, agricultural physics, and that sort of stuff. The UDA or diploma, you will do 24 courses over 2 years or 5 semesters, because you don't have a summer semester in the second year. And the year 2 of the UDA, it provides you with great exposure to agricultural technology, applied science courses, and more practical activities and field trips. How are the courses delivered? They will be delivered in a blended mode, meaning that you will have online lectures supported by face-to-face activities, all right, such as tutorials, projects, field practicals, labs, field visits, field trips, exams. They might be face-to-face, and that means you will be required to come on campus, but for the lectures, we plan to deliver it online. Okay. And so now you have completed the diploma or certificate. What you can do, there are two major pathways. One, you can go into the world of work, okay, where you can become what we call a modern day agriculturist because you learn about new technologies, etc. More important, you can become an agricultural entrepreneur. You can start your own business, okay. You can become a specialist in agricultural technologies, and you can become agricultural extension agent, such as agricultural assistant 1. You can become a research assistant. You can become a primary school teacher. But what we find is a lot of the graduates, especially those from the undergraduate diploma in agriculture, they will continue their studies into the year 2 of the BSc agriculture degree. And so this is very important. After you finish the diploma, which is 2 years, you get full exemption from all year 1 courses, and you go straight into year 2 of the BSc agricultural degree. No other institution in the Caribbean that does an associate degree or diploma gives you full exemptions. You'll have to go into year 1 of the BSc agriculture, and you will get partial exemptions. Okay, or you can also enter into year 1 of the major in agricultural technology or disaster risk resilience. A second entry point into the BSc agriculture is from the certificate where the UC graduates could enter into year 1 of the BSc agriculture or the above majors. And this is my last slide. So why should you join the UDA or the UCA? Students can start university immediately after completing CSEC or O-levels. So you no longer have to do CAPE or A-levels to enter university. Straight from after Form 5, you can enter. It gives you the option to enter university. And you also save a year, and I did a little maths there for you. A-levels is usually 2 years, the BSc is 3 years, but if you did, so that will be 5 years in total. And if you compare that with the UDA, which is 2 years, and the BSc, which is 2 years, because remember you're getting exempted from year 1, that will be 4 years. So you save a year, and you can do a lot of other exciting things probably in that year. All right, and also the program is a balanced program, but it has a strong practical component. So almost all the courses have one or more of these labs, field practicals, tutorials, classroom practicals, field visits or field trips. And also students do an intensive 10-week practical skills course at our university field station, all right, where they have various livestock and crop enterprises, etc. And Professor Saab mentioned this, we have some of the most highly qualified lecturers in the region. Most of your lecturers will have PhDs and they specialize in various areas. And what's great is you will have the same lecturers that teach you in the certificate or diploma, teaching you in the Bachelor of Science degrees. All right, so you're able to get very accustomed with those lecturers. They're able to provide you with the knowledge and skill set that you need to move from the UDA to the BSc. And the UDA is gate funded, however, certificate in agriculture, the UCA is not gate funded. So what's the next step? As Ms. Bannister said, you should apply for the undergraduate certificate or diploma in agriculture. Okay, thank you very much for your time. And I wish you all the best. Okay, I look to see you guys in the September. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ramnarayan. If you eat, you are involved in agriculture. I like that. At the end of the day, most of us here, if we go back into our family trees, we will see no matter what the careers of anybody in Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean at large, much of us would have started with some level of agriculture, right? So, you know, the importance is not something to question any further. So thank you again, Dr. Ramnarayan. I think I will have to give you all an apology upfront because we will be extending the time slightly, maybe until about 4:15, and then have about 15 to 20 minutes for questions because of the, you know, the nature of the explanations that we are providing and the fact that we really want to inform you all properly so that you understand the process going forward. So please bear with us, and I will not waste any more time. I will pass you on to our next presenter, Dr. Gias Eudoxie, who will be speaking about the BSc Agriculture program. Dr. Eudoxie, over to you.
Thank you so very much, Chair, and let me extend a warm welcome to all our attendees, and hopefully a number of them would be our future students for the 2022-2023 academic year. So just by introduction, my name is Gias Eudoxie. I am a senior lecturer here. I'm a soil scientist by profession, and I also serve as the Deputy Dean of Outreach for the Faculty of Food and Agriculture. And all that is to really just say that when you think about agriculture, you know, what we're thinking about is a mix, a plethora of different disciplines, competencies, and skills that one has to acquire to be able to address some critical issues within our region. So I wanted to put a spin on how we're presenting our programs to you all. And I want us to take it from the, I guess, the forward end, if you want to call it that, you know, from the end, the perspective of where we are and where we want to go in terms of our career choices and options that are there, and to let you all appreciate the fact that the multitude of careers are really based on the diversity and the multi-disciplinary nature of the very same subject that we are trying to teach or trying to educate you all about. We already spoke to the rich history of our faculty. So I just wanted to touch on global risk and global threats, you know, things that are important to us. What are the issues? And when we look at those risks, either from the livelihood or from the impact level, we see the vast majority of them are environmental. And what does that mean for that? For us, is that a lot of those risks also are strongly associated with our ability to manage land and our ability to manage our very resources. What does that mean? That means eventually, and we're already seeing it, we're coming to a crunch time when it comes to our ability as a planet to be able to feed ourselves and to make sure that that distribution of food, not only in terms of its security, but also in terms of its nutritional content, is critical for us to understand. So what does that mean? What does that signal to us? You know, what is the trend that we're seeing here? We're seeing here that we're going to eventually reach the point, and I'm sure that is the case by 2025, because even our heads of government have identified strategic moves to make sure that we do not find ourselves in these pitfalls. We are going to see the need for more and more specialists within our discipline, because the management of our resources, particularly as it pertains to our ability to supply nutritious and of sufficient quantity food, is going to be critical to us. And we need to understand all our resources for us to do that. And there's not a better program, there's not a better department, there's not a better faculty that will allow for us to better understand how we manage these resources. Just think about it. Where is most of, or what is most of the land on the earth used for? Non-natural land. Yeah? Land that we have used and we have converted to anthropogenic land use. The vast majority is agricultural land. And hence we have to understand the significance of agriculture, you know, even at a global level, but importantly as well at a regional level, and the need for us to have specialized persons in that area. Our head spoke to the fact that agriculture is a science, and I wanted to touch on that because one of the things we have to appreciate is that, when we think about agriculture, we don't think about the science behind it. But agriculture is what we call an applied science. So what we really want to ask ourselves is, how can we use all of that useful information that biology, chemistry, physics, geography, economics, social sciences, all that useful principle-based information that they have there, that persons have discovered, how do we use that? And agriculture is one of those disciplines that gives us an opportunity to understand how we take things and apply it in a very pragmatic way to the benefit, obviously, of our livelihoods and of our society. So it is a very critical science. The other thing we have to think about is the nature of that science. So here I just, pastored some traditional careers in agriculture. And even the traditional careers, one of the key things you realize is that when you're thinking about agriculture, and I'm really speaking to our flagship program of the BSc in agriculture here. When you're thinking about agriculture, you have to recognize that the multiplicity of careers is really geared behind, or is really strengthened based on a foundation of the extent of knowledge that one picks up in this degree. When I did this degree, well, I ain't gonna tell how old I am, because a lot of people tell me I look young. But when you think about the number of subjects or disciplines you have to cover, there's no other program across our entire university, and I might say in terms of any other program that you might find, that gives you a foundation in as many disciplines. And when you look at the career paths that you could take, even in traditional forms, you clearly see it here. Soil science, agricultural education, economics, engineering, productionist, food science, communication. The skills you learn, and that is why persons who graduate from our flagship programs, they leave here and they do global things. Dr. Shakantala as an example, because they have a foundation that could propel them in nearly any direction they may choose to go. But yes, we know that it is not just about farming. While farming is important, and when you learn the science, you learn to farm better, and you learn to increase your yields, you learn to increase your profit, and obviously your livelihood. But we're saying here that the science is not only applied to the farm. The science is applied in a multiplicity of ways, over 300 career paths that you could follow. The very same persons, including myself, speaking to you now, are persons who have trod along those paths. I'm a soil scientist by profession, but I started off with a BSc in agriculture. General agriculture, that gave me that foundation to build, to reach that career that I right now have. And I very much enjoy, because I do all kinds of things. I work on the cricket pitches. I do sustainable soil management. I work with integrated water resource management. I work with fertility and nutrition. I could go on and on and on and on. But the fact is, without that foundation here, I would not have had that. So there is a plethora of options, that is built into that discipline that we call agriculture. Globally, you're seeing it here. We cannot find sufficient persons to fill that void. And consistently, as somebody in the network, I have been sending out those invitations for positions to many of our former students, and as well as colleagues. So there are significant opportunities in here, and I don't want us to overlook those. So what is that career path that we need to trod? The first thing we have to do, and it's already said, that we have to matriculate, try to get into the program. So I'm speaking about, as I said, our flagship program, which is the BSc in agriculture. And we also have a major in agricultural technology. And that major really is to allow for some flexibility, depending on where you may see yourself. A major is sort of like half a full degree, but it allows for you to combine that major with others that you will probably just hear in a little while from Dr. Ruth Narayan, where you could combine the majors and get a little more flexibility in your options. But the fact is, you have to enter, and you do need the basic matriculation, which is your CSEC subjects. You need 5 of those, including maths and English. And then you also need to have some advanced level matriculation requirements to enter our BSc programs, including CAPE, and as well diplomas such as our very own UDA and other diplomas from other TLIs. How you get into the program based on your entry requirements is something that we do on a case-to-case basis through a process. Once you're in, we in business now. You read for that particular BSc that you have been registered for, and once you go through the process, you will exit with a particular profile that allows for you to determine what career path is best for you. So we have it right here laid out for you. You know, we guiding you right through that process till you become the professional that you want to become. Yeah, it may not be at the level of the BSc, but even after that BSc, there's options that are available for you. So we are there to guide, and please use and contact us if you feel there's a need to have some further information. So let me just touch on some of the major disciplines that our BSc and major in agriculture provides. And trust me, this is not an extensive list. Agronomy, which deals with the actual field and vegetable crops that the tradition associates with agriculture, the farming part of it. The livestock science, you know, also addresses issues pertaining to our ruminant, non-ruminant, neotropical livestock that we have, and other things such as aquaculture and fisheries. We have horticulture that takes another slant to the agronomy and also starts to deal with not only food-based crops, but also crop, landscape and other amenity crops. We have value addition. We talk about a food chain. Yeah, so we talk about a food system. And that food system starts with production, but ends up as a particular product that we buy from the grocery. So that's why a lot of little children say food comes from the grocery. But there is a value addition that is happening there. And we are poised and ready through these programs to teach you how that value addition system works. Obviously, yes, we address issues of economics and communication, very, very critical for bringing the same technology that our head spoke about to our various stakeholders along that value chain. Engineering is very important as well because of the machinery that we use, because of the technology that we use, because of the processes that are important along that value chain. We also touch on, as I was mentioning earlier, natural resource management, because we use natural resources in the production of our food and as well in the processing and value addition within our foods. So it's very important. So when you think about agriculture, I don't ever want us to divorce agriculture from food, because the two of them are binded forever. And yes, we do touch on a little bit of sociology as well, because we have to understand within the context of agriculture, we are also dealing with humans, yeah, and human interaction. And we have to understand as a society what agriculture means. You know, how we move from a plantation system to where we are now with a small farmer system, and what does that mean to livelihoods, and what does that mean to our overall economy. Agriculture is, in my mind, one of the most diverse and one of the most important subjects that we could think about. Yeah, and I would want for all of you to recognize that there are opportunities in those programs. Yeah, and avail yourself to those opportunities, and please allow for us to further guide you through that process by please follow us on our social media platforms and reach out to us in the department for us to provide any further clarification. Chair, thank you so very much. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Eudoxie. I think now that you all have seen Dr. Eudoxie has nicely packaged what agriculture is and its scope and how far it reaches. And now it is my turn to highlight one of our new programs, something that we developed recently that will be first offered in September 2022. So if you permit me to share my screen, give me 1 second to do so. And we will start shortly. Right. So arising out of what Dr. Eudoxie just mentioned about the scope of agriculture, one of the selling points for our faculty and our department is that we have attempted to not just stick with traditional programs, but to tailor what we offer to suit developmental needs. So this program, entitled Disaster Risk Resilience in Agriculture and the Environment, is what I'm going to talk about now. And essentially, it's a program that focuses on agriculture and environmental sectors and looks at all these modern frameworks. Some of you all, depending on where you are or what subjects you're doing at school, or if you're out of school already or may have associate degrees, etc., may have heard about things like the Sendai framework. You may have heard about Agenda 2030, the Sustainable Development Goals. All our countries regionally are trying to meet Agenda 2030. We have ratified most of these international multilateral agreements, and there are lots of opportunities in this particular area for persons to explore. The problem is that many persons who would have filled these portfolios before may not have had any formal training from a tertiary institution. This program is the first of its kind in the entire region at an undergraduate level. So it looks at all these things that you're seeing on the screen here: agricultural and environmental innovation. Dr. Eudoxie spoke about not being able to separate agriculture and food. I will extend that even further, in that we cannot separate agriculture and the environment, because one interacts with the other, and how you employ your agriculture or the state of your environment, they are both interrelated. So many persons sometimes have this misconception about agricultural experts being only involved in primary production, and that is very, very far from the truth. This program also will provide students who complete with the technical capacity to conduct, analyze, and apply disaster management strategies. Assuming that most of you all are from the Caribbean, we understand the limitations based on our vulnerability. We understand the issues attached to climate change. We understand that if we do not implement mitigation and adaptation strategies, we will be placed in a very, very, slippery situation where we may not be able to meet our, developmental needs. Our food security will be threatened, so on and so forth, and by extension, our entire economy. And the last point I wanted to make in this description is that it also focuses on community-based and integration of indigenous knowledge. It is not just about lecturers, and academics, backing instructions to you, but also trying to integrate the participatory approach in dealing with things like disaster risk, resilience, and so on and so forth. All right? The rationale, why did we do this? I sort of alluded to some of that before, but there was a clear market demand at the tertiary level for something like this that, as I mentioned, is the first program of its type at the undergraduate level in the region. There was also a global trend towards building climate change and disaster risk resilience strategies, etc. When it comes to the Sendai framework and UN Agenda 2030, which is basically the Sustainable Development Goals. And then further to that, you have the unique circumstances that I sort of alluded to before already. Agricultural sector is very, very vulnerable. We have lots of environmental degradation. And of course, we are probably one of the most, or the most vulnerable region when it comes to climatic extremes, right? The outcome, once you complete this program, you should be able to effectively function as an agriculture and environmental disaster risk managers. You could contribute to national and regional strategies. So most countries have things called NDCs, which are nationally determined contributions, which is related to climate change and aspects of Agenda 2030. You have requirements from numerous multilateral agreements, such as land degradation and so on and so forth, that countries have to report on, and persons within ministries are performing these duties without necessarily having the formal training to support it. It also will help you improve functionality and relevance of regional disaster risk management units, in that now persons will have formal training in this area, and then ultimately improve and adapt agricultural and environmental systems towards improved resilience. And finally, integrate international frameworks in the regional developmental plans and assist in regional attainment of the Sustainable Development Goals. The structure of the program is, it's a major, which means in order to complete it, you have to do another major or equivalent number of courses to make up a major. Of course, it makes no sense to do it with just, you know, random courses, but it would be better for you to do it as a double major, and it complements other majors within our faculty, such as agricultural technology, which is also from the FP, but there are also majors in our sister departments, such as ENRM and geography, right? ENRM standing for Environmental and Natural Resources Management, right? To finish this, you basically have to cover 12 credits of level 1 courses and a total of 30 credits at advanced level, 24 of which are core, meaning that you have to do it, and then 6 credits, which is the equivalent of 2 courses that you could pick from a list of electives. In terms of entry requirements, this is slightly different from what was presented before, generally following the same framework though, but you need 2 CAPE Science subjects. A certificate in agriculture or certificate in environmental geography will also be accepted, and an approved associate degree with a minimum GPA of 2.5, and also special consideration will be given to professionals with greater than 5 years working experience in any disaster risk management portfolio. I know this is a lot to take in, but this just gives you an idea of the type or the nature of the courses that this program will cover. Many of this you're seeing new attached to it, which are courses that we worked diligently to develop in the last couple of years to meet, you know, as I said before, the regional developmental needs and to be aligned with, you know, the country's development going forward. Well, when I say countries, I mean all the countries in the region. So you see things like sustainable land management, water resources management, disaster risk analysis, climate change adaptation, geographic information systems, you know, environmental sustainability, community engagement and practice. So it's a very, very diverse and very attractive major that, as Dr. Eudoxie said, about the agriculture program, this also gives you a wide reach in terms of the different areas that you could be employed in. Now, in order to further support that, I'm just going to highlight some of the regional agencies that would have supported this program in its development. So when a faculty develops a program, we can't just develop it out of thin air. We need to have some sort of support and prove that there's a market demand. So all these different agencies, the Global Water Partnership, Sustainable Grenadines, Integrated Health Outreach, CCRIF, which is CRIF. Some of you all may have heard about them because they have both undergraduate and postgraduate scholarships that they offer for various programs. One of them includes this disaster risk resilience program for agriculture and the environment. So those of you who are interested from that angle could also apply for undergraduate scholarships from CCRIF. And then you have Caribbean Wastewater Association, Canary, CARDI, and so on. And this was also endorsed by various ministries across the region. So agriculture and environmental ministries, just to name a few, from St. Kitts, Trinidad and Tobago, Grenada, and so on. So that essentially is highlighting the key points that I wanted to put forward. And I want to thank you all for listening. And I just want to highlight something ad hoc here, in the sense that all of the programs that we would have mentioned are academic programs, but I also want to sort of highlight some of the work that our faculty members do and what we contribute to as our postgraduate students. Some new and exciting things that maybe some of you all could get involved in later on. So in the not too distant future, we'll be looking at insect farming as a form of protein for livestock, for the livestock feed. We'll be looking at, you know, Dr. Eudoxie, myself, and a couple others have been looking at soil organic carbon mapping for Trinidad and Tobago and the region. We have been also looking at salinity mapping. There will soon be a global effort through the FAO on land degradation assessments, looking at erosion and things like that, all of which members of the Department of Food Production are actively involved in. We are also working on things like climate change and the Adaptation Fund. And we are looking at food safety in terms of how does climate change affect food safety. And all of these projects are things that, you know, should should enlighten you in the sense that in future, these are some of the things that you could get involved in and help you contribute to overall regional development. So without any further delay on my presentation, I will stop here and we will go to a question and answer segment. And it's over to you guys. Anybody has any comments, questions, you can feel free to raise your hand and voice them. I know that there were a couple of questions in the chat that were most of which have been addressed by my colleagues. But if you have any other questions or comments, feel free to raise your hand and indicate accordingly. Do not feel shy, it's fine. I'm seeing Shakir is saying, I applied to do a BSc in geography and I haven't received acknowledgement email from my application. I would like to know how long it would take to process and if I'm accepted or not. Mrs. Bannister, you want to, this is not from our department, but of course we could share some information on it. And Raul, I see your hand, I will come to you next. Mrs. Bannister, any idea on how long the process will take?
Sorry, Dr. Ryan, I was trying to unmute. Once the applicants have submitted all of the documents and paid the processing fee, the normal processing time is 3 to 4 weeks from that time. So what I would advise you to do, keep tracking your application. You said you were seeing here, what's the last thing you saw when you track your application? Process, I've applied, I've received the acknowledgement email, right? You paid.
I'm not sure if he's saying he have or he hasn't.
Shakir, once they pay the fees and they submitted all the supporting documents, they give it 3 to 4 weeks for processing. So make sure everything has been covered. Your supporting documents are all certified and all of that. Give it three weeks to process.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Bannister. Shakir, I hope that answers your question. Raul, you can unmute your mic and go ahead. I hope I pronounced your name correctly.
Yes, you did. Thank you very much. My name is Raul Leslie, Dean at Dominica State College, also lecturing in some agricultural subjects.
Pleasure.
Thanks for inviting us. Very interesting webinar, quite a lot of information. But we teach agriculture up to the associate degree at Dominica State College, and probably like the other colleges in the Caribbean. And one of the presenters mentioned that the students who would apply to go to UWI, you would assess it on a case basis by case basis and some partial exemption. Could you give, I'm really representing students here, could you give a little further explanation? Because we know some of our graduates go to UWI and so forth. Could you give a little further explanation with regards to our associate degree vis-a-vis your BSc?
I will pass that over to our head of department, Prof. Sarah.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Leslie, for being here, and it's very much appreciated. Basically, what we look at the associate degrees, the GPA, and once they have the GPA of more than 2.75 from the associate degree, and most of our level 1 courses are exempted. But currently, we are trying to work with all the community colleges in the region to receive their programs as well as the details of the program, so that we will be able to assess that, and if we can make the recommendations right away for those students coming from those community colleges to join in the year 2 program. Because we have some students coming from Barbados Community College, as well as from our ECCIAF, as well as some community colleges, where we have looked at those transcripts as well as the program, and we have actually made some decisions for them to directly enter into year 2. But for other community colleges for which we haven't assessed yet, based on the GPA of the students, if it is less than 2.75, then there are 2 or 3 courses that is exempted. And but if the GPA of the student is more than 2.75, equal or more than 2.75, then most of the level 1 courses are exempted. So thanks for that very important question. And we actually are thinking to reach out to all community colleges to have this process harmonized. So when we get students from the community college without any further scrutiny of that student, just by seeing that they have completed their community, I mean associate degree, and they can directly enter into year 2.
Thank you so very much. And I just must encourage the students at this webinar. I'm a proud graduate of University of the West Indies in Agricultural Extension and Agricultural and Rural Development. I would just like to encourage students to take the opportunity to be students of my proud institution, the University of the West Indies.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much.
Mr. Leslie, it's really refreshing to have you join us and to endorse our programs and the faculty as well. So thanks for that yet again.
It was a tremendous effort. I tried connecting on my phone and vehicle, so I had to rush to because I really wanted to hear what you're offering, to at least be able to advise our students who are interested into your program as to what they could get into.
All right, well, no problem. And if you require any additional information, just email us and we will be more than willing to share whatever we need. And as Prof said, I think there is a process that we will embark on shortly to ensure that, you know, all these community colleges, etc., we have a formalized process. Once you complete this particular program and you have a particular GPA, you enter straight into one of our degree programs. So thanks again.
And I have been tracing the students who leave our college to your university, and I'm happy for their performance.
Great, thanks a lot, man. Anybody else has any questions or comments? Please feel free. We don't have to be, you know, overly formal. We want to interact with you guys, you know. So anybody else? I'm seeing lots of persons still present. So
yeah, Dr. Rupnarayan, just to request,
sure.
Because we send out to all schools, and we have seen our overwhelming response with respect to registration. And I understand the difficulty with online connectivity as well as joining this webinar. And still we are going to send out the recordings and the relevant information to those persons registered for the webinar. But while I say so, I also request, because we may have some of the teachers from the schools and some of the dean or lecturers from some of the colleges. So I may not know who is coming from which community college or the school or from which background, but I request everyone, feel free to share this information with your colleagues as well as with your students, and encourage them to contact us if they have any concerns or any queries. We will be very pleased and happy to respond to them and facilitate their application, and whatever information we can provide, we will be able to provide to them. And I still see one question from Rachel. Any opportunities for full-time online studies? And also, can I do a minor in education with a major in general agriculture? So just to respond to that question, now coming back in September 2022, all programs that we have will be delivered through blended mode. So blended mode means some of the courses, the lectures will be delivered online, and when it comes to labs and field practicals, that will be facilitated face-to-face. That is the blended delivery of our programs. Then with respect to your second question, minor in education and major in agricultural technology, yes, that is certainly possible. A student can do a double major or a major and minor combination. And also you can do double major in agricultural technology as well as disaster risk resilience for agriculture and the environment as well. So there is a flexibility in our programs within the university.
All right, thank you very much, Prof. I'm not seeing any more questions. I would think that would mean that we would have explained everything sufficiently and that you all have all the information that you require. I'm just going to appeal to you guys one more time, and if there are no further questions or comments, we could end today's session. So last call, anybody?
Chair, if you just allow me, just one more thing. And
Sure, Prof.
also, if when you have posted some of your comments or queries, and if that is not answered, you can also raise your hands. I hope we have responded to most of the questions or queries that has been posted there in chat box. But still, if you feel that that was not properly addressed, you can raise your hand and we can read your question. Then we will be able to respond to that.
Thanks, Prof. I think I'm not seeing any hands, and I think during the course of the presentations, all the questions have been responded to. So with that, I think we can end today's session. I thank you all once again for joining us. We will make this recording available via a link, which will be sent to everyone who has registered for the webinar, which would include all of you who are present here today, as well as some others who may have had some challenges in joining us. And in addition to sending the link, we will also share our contact information in the event that you need to contact the department for any further information in your application process. So with that, I just heard an alert. I don't know if it's somebody is trying to join.
Yeah, I admitted. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I just want to wish you all a good afternoon, and thank you all once again for joining us. And I hope that after today, we appreciate agriculture in a different way. We understand its reach. We understand its, its importance, its relevance. We have seen with COVID-19 what, implications could happen if we do not meet our, our food security and able to sustain ourselves in terms of our production. I mentioned our vulnerability to climatic extremes, etc. These are things that require urgent attention in our region, and that is what the department is trying to do, to provide personnel with the capacity to deliver and to support regional developmental needs. We know that a lot of people gravitate towards some more traditional programs like maybe engineering and med-sci and law and things like that. And while that is fine and everybody is entitled to a choice, the developmental needs of the region is looking in a slightly different direction. So with that, I leave you, and I would wish you all a very good afternoon. Take care, stay safe, and we hope to see all of you as students in September. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Hi, good evening. I have a quick question.
Sure, go ahead, it's fine. We're still here.
Please excuse the extra noise that you would be hearing in the background.
That's okay, that's okay.
Okay, but you would have mentioned that the program, the BSc program in agriculture, will be given in a blended approach. So I am living in Barbados. Would I have to come to Trinidad since it would be given in a blended approach?
Well,
because I'm still a little confused.
All right, so let me, I guess, again, let me explain very quickly what we mean by blended, right? So there's online, which means everything is online and you would not need to be physically here, yeah? Blended,
I understand that, I understand that.
Blended is a combination of the two, but it will require your presence here at some point, particularly for exams and labs and so on and so forth. So it will not be a situation where you can do the entire program remotely. And for something like agriculture, it's quite difficult to do that because you will lack the practical and real world experience that you need to get from the program itself. So, yes, you would have to be present in Trinidad. That's really the answer to your question.
I guess saying that I had my question worded wrong. For example, within the semester, say like on Wednesday or whatever, you may have a practical, and then throughout the rest of the week, classes online. It wouldn't be like that.
No, I think I will. There's still some discussions on that, but for the most part, I think we'll be returning to face-to-face classes with the material being present and available online as well. So students can access like teaching materials, slides, etc. Prof. Sarah or Dr. Eudoxy, anybody wants to jump in here that may have some more information than I would have shared so far?
Okay, so with respect to that, what I would like to say here, I know Ms. Terry, and she contacted me, and what happened, right? Because of COVID, students, those who have completed the first year, and they would have completed the rest of the program by staying home fully online because of COVID, right? But at the same time, we have tried to facilitate from their territory as well, wherever possible, what we can do with some simulation practicals and labs and everything. But even the exams we can facilitate from the place where you are staying. But when it comes to some of the labs and the practicals, since COVID has almost resided, and it is not that serious now, and the university is planning to get the students back on campus. So in that case, the practicals and the field practicals, especially the labs, that will be face to face. But I hear you what's saying, and probably we need to think our strategies. Can we have the the practicals all put together in 2 weeks time in a semester, or 3 weeks time in a semester, so that all practicals will be pulled together, and the lectures will be delivered online. But that is the strategy that's we need to work out at the faculty level, and the approval and everything. That is a lengthy process. But at this time, as Dr. Rupnarayan mentioned, it would be a blended delivery, and I am aware that you have completed your associate degree, and also you said that you're working as a teacher, and I'm very happy that you joined for this webinar, and we can continue our discussion, but at this time we going to deliver the program in a blended mode.
Thanks, Prof, for that.
Okay, thank you.
You're good now, right?
Yes, please. Thank you.
All right, great. All right, guys. Well, I think that's about it.
Okay, then. Bye, everyone. Yeah.